Good evening and welcome to Belt to Valley. And we have three guests tonight. Jeannie's you're here all the time. Yeah, Jeannie's a regular. She's almost part of the, you might say part of the crew.
Right.
It's Bob Evans here. I'm the technical director for the Education Hub.
Yes, and Karen is
Karen Harris, I'm the executive director for the Education Hub.
Yeah, and the Education Hub, if you haven't seen it, is worthwhile going and check out. Because it actually is a great training facility now.
Right.
And let me tell you, a lot of people need new training. They need to get out of their regular job because they're gone.
Right. Well, if you've watched the show, you know about the Education Hub because we've spoken about it since its inception over 2 years ago. We were fortunate enough again to get the Work Skills Grant to do the build out. We're located in the Linwood Mill, just around the corner from the Chamber of Commerce. And we've evolved over 2 years now. And I'm happy to say that this team that we've put together is amazing. We're working with high schools, adults, retraining, and you've heard me talk about our Job Corps program. But I'm going to let Karen and Bob tell us more about what's going on because they've got some great programs they've been putting together. Do you want to start, Karen?
Right to the source.
Sure. Well, the two most new and exciting things that we have going, I think, is starting on Monday and the start of Massachusetts STEM Week here in Massachusetts, which I believe this is the 4th year that's been going on.
Tell them what STEM means.
so-
A lot of people don't know what it is.
STEM is for an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And, you know, all the careers that we're trying to train for and expose students and children to are, you know, what STEM Week is all about. And and the motto is, see yourself in STEM. And so we are excited to be putting on some STEM workshops for middle school students next week. So we have one starting Monday. Bob and I were just talking about it with our other instructor before we came here tonight and playing with some new equipment.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the kids are going to be designing keychains with a 3D modeling software called Tinkercad, and then printing it on our 3D printers. We'll give them a tour. We'll tell them about manufacturing careers, and we also have some new do-bots, which are basically education ready robotic arms, where kids can learn how to program them and what they're used for in manufacturing.
Because this is the future, and the future is here.
Yes.
That's right.
So
So,
these things are already in operation, manufacturing.
and you've heard us talk about the 3D printers before, of course, during COVID. We were
Yes.
instrumental in bringing instructors and teachers together around New England and printed almost 20,000 face shields that we distributed. And Bob worked a lot on those projects too. So Bob is very technical. He's an engineer. We're very fortunate to have him. Karen comes to us from academia. She was assistant superintendent at Shepherd Hill Regional. Is it high school or
So
you were also
Shepherd
the
Hill,
Charlton?
yep.
Yeah,
So
Charlton
Shepherd Hill
Dudley.
is the high school in
Yeah.
the Dudley Charlton Regional
Dudley
School
Charlton
District.
Regional,
So my passion lies with STEM, and that's what I was doing for 4 years. And then also last year when I was doing other things as assistant superintendent. So, you know, that is kind of my impetus behind bringing the middle school STEM workshops next week too, is to kind of expose the kids to what we do so that they can in high school say, oh, maybe we can have some, go take a class at the Ed Hub.
Right.
So,
And Karen worked with the Ed Hub on some grants, and we were very pleased to welcome her aboard. And Bob came to us through the Heritage Corridor. He was volunteering, but when we found out his illustrious background in engineering and manufacturing, it was like a gift from God. So Bob, why don't you tell us about the things that you're able to do?
Actually, just before you mentioned the Heritage Corridor, so the actual story of how I got involved with the Ed Hub was actually quite interesting because photography is my main hobby, and I'm one of the photography ambassadors, actually one of the photography ambassadors for the Blackstone Heritage Corridor. And I've been working with them for like a year or so. And I also have my own 3D printer. And we're having a Christmas party. So I thought I would make them some, Christmas ornaments, stars and things, And I gave them to my contacts, And then one of them said, you should go and talk to Jeannie, the people next door, who I had never heard of the Ed Hub. And so, and my wife often jokes about this, it's because you gave that the Christmas ornament. And then it all sort of went from there. But I've been involved in engineering for a long time, years. And it is my passion as well. I mean, I have my own 3D printer and everything set up at home. And, so this is, as you said, almost a match made in heaven in that respect, because it's my interest. I do really like teaching and helping people, and STEM, science, engineering is so important nowadays. I mean, if you really want to get ahead and to understand how things work, and it's interesting. I was talking to someone the other week, and it's just astonishing nowadays. There's so few people know how things work and what you need to do to fix them. I mean, for myself, and I got this from my dad, I'm sure, is I can fix anything. I mean, you just sort of do it, whether it's a car engine or a vacuum cleaner, or you know how it works.
So Bob's going to give you his phone number, so if anything fixed, you can bring it to Bob.
And sometimes I think, God, it must be hard for people who don't know that, but it's surprising.
You're 100% right. Because my husband is very technical, and he tinkered with his dad on TVs, who was a TV sale. It's so right that you get it from your family and what they do, and
that just
so
isn't happening right now.
Yeah.
No, it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
And you can tell how fortunate we are at the Ed Hub, because not only are these people directors, they're also teachers. And they work very well with our students. We have some wonderful programs that we've put together. We actually have another program coming up for adults.
I brought my flyer.
Yeah. So
OSHA.
if any of you out there are looking for OSHA certification, or if you own a business and you need a training supervisor, or if you're looking for a job, I mean, this is a great certification for you to have, and we're starting that on the 26th of October, correct?
Right. We're hoping. Yeah. We're hoping to start the class. It's going to run for 4 sessions: Monday, Wednesday of the week of October 26th and 28th, and then the following Monday, Wednesday. And if we need to push it a couple more weeks, we can also
flexible.
do that.
Yeah.
We're limiting, obviously, because of COVID, our class to 10 participants right now, which is fine. We ran some hands-on classes this summer with students. There was 6 students in a class, and it worked out beautifully. So yeah, it is, like Jeannie said, and Bob teaches this as well with our other instructors, that it's just a great credential to have to get your foot in the door for
Yes.
many of these companies around here. Some of our manufacturers, if they've hired new people, that they want to get trained and get some skills, this is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it gives you an edge if you're going for a job too. You want to be able to be that much better than another person, because there's so many people that are vying for the same position. So this would give you an edge, and it's a valuable credential to have, as Karen
Now,
said.
for the people, the employers out there, they do need to have someone on,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
they? This is
Yes.
They
this is
need an
federal law.
officer, safety officer.
Yep.
Is that what it's
So-
called, Bob? Do they call it a safety officer, or?
Yes,
Yeah.
in general, but I mean, OSHA, in case
Yeah.
anyone doesn't know, OSHA stands for the
Occupational
Occupational
Safety.
Safety and Health Administration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do go around,
Oh, yes,
and
they
they
Oh,
do.
do
yeah.
check you out, and if you don't have a safety officer, you're in violation.
Yeah, it's true.
So you really, if you don't have one, get one of your employees trained. Here's a great way of getting it done,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's not expensive.
no.
Right.
No,
No,
not at all.
and it's very convenient, we're right in the Linwood Mill, and as
Yeah,
I
you're
said,
right
we're
here.
flexible,
And so this is something that we hope to continue, one
an
class right
ongoing
after the
basis.
other, exactly. So
Yeah.
maybe, 4 or 5 classes a year
Yeah.
that we can continue to market.
Right,
Like I say, it's very important, because you will get in some serious fines, and talk to anyone who's been fined by OSHA, it's not a question of experience.
No, it's not.
No, it's quite expensive too.
Yeah.
But we've had several different programs. One of them was the Job Corps program. We have a second cohort right now of Job Corps. I'm happy to say, we're able to place 100% job placement of our first graduating class with Job Corps, which is right in Grafton. But of course, because of COVID, they had to shut down the campus, send everyone home. So Bob is working right now with that group remotely.
Which we're teaching remote, and of course the Northeast Centre in Grafton is the primary, in fact it's the only one on the East Coast which offers advanced manufacturing.
At the Ed Hub. Yeah.
And so
Right,
they're
because
using
of you.
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
And for example, the students I have right now, they're at they're in Texas, North Carolina, or maybe South Carolina, Georgia, you know. And so they're working on this remotely, and we have 3 lessons a week with them. And then they're going to be here hopefully within a month. And they're going to be living on site in Grafton, in the accommodations there,
Oh,
and then they'll be
okay.
coming to us at the Ed Hub for the hands-on training.
Right.
And of course, nothing can beat hands-on, working on a lathe,
Oh, actually,
working on a milling
absolutely.
machine, and we try to do the best we can, of course.
Yes.
Yep.
And he's putting his photography skills to good use, making some videos, right, to show how the machines work.
Yeah.
Yes, we've done lots of those, and it's again that really helps because of course they can watch them at their leisure. If they didn't quite understand the point, they can go back and see
Right.
it again. But again, there's nothing like being there, make sure you're wearing your PPE, your protective equipment, and then being able to actually operate and make an item. For example, the item the last group made was a meat tenderizer.
Meat tenderizer,
Okay.
yeah. Out of metal. It
Out
was-
of aluminum.
Yeah.
Or aluminium, as I would say. But they, you got to use a turning, you use a lathe, you use a mill, and
Yeah.
you have to read a drawing, you have to understand, you have to set it up, you have to
And
measure
these
it.
machines aren't what they were 20, 30
Oh,
years
no, no,
ago.
no,
These
no,
are,
no.
you
These-
really have to have computer skills now.
Hence the T in STEM, technology.
Yes, you have to have technical skills,
Right.
Right.
whereas the old machine, my father was a machinist, was a whole different ballgame.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, these nowadays, for example, if you remember from your father's time, if you wanted to cut a thread on a lathe, it's quite a complex operation.
Yes.
As regards to the gearing and how you set it up and making sure it indexes correctly. Now it's
Constantly
program it.
using- Constantly using your mics and,
oh yeah, there's no need for that now.
no.
I mean,
now
obviously you
it's-
check it afterwards, but
Yeah.
you just program it in,
Yeah,
and then of course, well, even before you use the lathe or the mill, you simulate it, so you actually see what happens, and you can see the path that it takes. Everything.
Oh.
And then,
But what's really valuable is for our instructors to know how it used to be and know the value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, but just
Excuse me,
saying,
let me just get my
yeah, no, because
Yeah.
not everything is technology, and just like you're saying, to
Yeah.
problem solve, that is a huge
Yeah.
part of what our students need to do is to be able to problem solve. And so if they can figure out
Mhm.
how to do it manually or to troubleshoot the problem, it's very valuable to have
yeah,
our
the machine will do a
instructors.
lot of work
Yeah.
for you, but you gotta know if there's,
Right.
if you're
Yes.
running
It'll
into a
only do what you
situation.
tell it to do, and
Yes.
as they say,
Yeah.
garbage in,
Garbage in,
out.
garbage out, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Which is where the simulation really helps,
Yeah,
so being
because-
able to.
You can see if it's wrong, you can correct
Yes.
it
Yeah.
before performing.
And again, typically what we would do is we would use wax or plastic first, just in case there's any crashes and things, just so they can see things. And then
Right,
we go to aluminum or steel or brass or whatever's appropriate for the particular project.
Right.
and now, is this course open to anyone?
Well, Karen might want to talk about that actually. So,
So we're hoping to get there, Harry. Right now we have, a lot of our grants are for specific programs like
Right,
Job Corps or our reentry folks, which we worked with the Worcester County House of Corrections.
Yes.
So our grants and our funding are for specific programs, but that is where we want to go to be able to offer them to, just like our OSHA class.
The general
So
public,
our
yeah.
OSHA class is actually a snippet of one level of certification that we teach in a variety of courses such as blueprint reading, shop math,
Right.
metrology, safety, and work readiness. So if we can even block them up into small little pieces like that, then yes, we would absolutely. We can have a class in CNC programming, for example. So we would absolutely love to get there.
And one of them that we're really looking at for the general public, because it is the number one ask for our manufacturers, and I've mentioned that we get a grant to purchase these, is our augmented welding program.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is actually a fantastic way. For those who aren't familiar with it, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with welding. You've seen people on the TV or out in the, when you're driving along, you know, when they've got a rod and a stick and, you know, and the welding pieces of metal together. But obviously, there's a hazard associated with that. So now what they have is they use the latest technology to actually simulate the weld. And you have a mask, just like if you're playing a game, you know, you have a mask that goes over your face. And there you can actually see a vision of the weld and the noise and the sound effects with it, and you can operate it, and
Yeah.
it looks like you're making a weld, but you're not actually.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
it's pretty
But,
neat.
but there is an extreme skill to welding as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me,
can't
there's
just put
very
a-
skillful.
You know, a rod on the end of your arc welder, and
Right.
there's a lot more to it.
There
So,
certainly is.
and knowing what to use and everything else, so that's where the course comes in. Now, on these courses, if they're opened up to the public, there'll be a small fee.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to
Yeah.
operate, and you can't get grants for
Well, we have
everything.
to pay our teachers. They,
Yeah,
you have to-
they're, they're
yeah,
awful
you
like
have to
that.
pay
They
the
really
rent.
want to get paid. I have to pay them. And we do have to pay, our landlord likes us to pay him, and National Grid likes us to pay them to keep the
Yeah,
lights
so
on.
I
So,
mean, but there's nothing wrong with that, I mean.
I mean, you would pay it if you were going
Yeah.
to QCC
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
And
go to a
quite
technical school, you're
honestly,
gonna pay, and you're gonna
yes.
pay a lot more.
Yes.
Right, yeah, it's very affordable.
So
This is-
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're a nonprofit. We're not in it. We're just in it to help and
Right.
cover our costs,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
But just actually, just thinking about things, I mean, as regards offering courses, you know, to the general public, if anyone watching, you know, has any ideas, please contact us.
Yeah.
That would be
You know,
excellent.
as to
Yeah.
the kind of courses that would be helpful to you,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, we're developing custom curriculums all the time through our manufacturers. They give us feedback, and we want to make sure that everyone gets employed. So that's why we do train people for what the manufacturer needs, because you have a job waiting for you before you're even done.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's how we get the augmented reality welders
Yeah.
is through specific feedback through local manufacturers. When Jeannie was writing the grant in the spring, asked for feedback, and they were like, that we are dying. We cannot find people
Can't
who
find welders.
who are qualified. So a little bit of
Yeah.
help in that area.
You
Yeah.
know, we hear about the unemployment rate, but what our people don't realize, there are a lot of jobs out there
Lot
that
of
just
jobs.
people aren't qualified
Yes.
for them.
Right.
And you're gonna get them qualified for them.
Yeah, we have one manufacturer has 51 openings.
God, imagine
Yeah.
that.
I know.
Yeah.
And you talk about made in the USA, and if
Yeah.
you can't,
Yeah,
know,
if you
that's
can't
get the
if
workers,
you can't
you
get
can't
them
make
to
it.
yeah. How do we do it?
And this
So-
is not working an assembly line like it was years ago, where you
No.
put the little widget on this and that. No, these are good, solid jobs.
It's a
Absolutely.
career.
Career
It's a career
jobs where-
path. Yeah,
You go to work every day, you might be doing, you're gonna be doing something different,
and you're gonna make good money.
you're
You're
gonna
gonna
make good money.
And
Yeah.
there's lots of opportunity. You
Yes.
start there and you move up.
Yeah.
And Jeannie and I were talking about this, right before we came here about, things to have at the Ed Hub would be maybe like an open house for people who have worked their way up in a manufacturing career, so that people can know that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is education too,
Yes.
about the specific job, the job description, and the roles in a specific company. So
Yeah. I mean, a good example is Bill DiBenedetto, and I know that a couple years ago, I think we had him on the show here. He started out, he didn't finish high school, but he used to always work on cars, and he got a job in a factory. The owner of the factory saw that he had an aptitude to work on machines, got him working on a machine, worked his way up the ladder. The owner paid for him to go to school. He ended up going to WPI. He was the CEO of Lampen before Robin.
wow.
And this is someone who quit high school.
Yep.
So this is what you can do. The sky's the limit. And the
Yep.
thing is, he said, I feel like I never worked because I
He
loved
loved it.
doing
Yes.
that.
Right.
So if you have an aptitude for it, it's not work, it's
Right.
fun. Like Bob can fix anything. I mean, that's fun for him. So send everything that's broken to Bob.
But seriously, it is fun.
It
Right.
is fun, right?
Right.
Yeah. There
But you don't
go.
see it much anymore
Keep this
because
man happy. Bring him all your broken appliances.
anything breaks now, we throw it away.
Oh,
Yeah.
This
I
is
know.
so
Everything's
true.
disposable.
This is
Planned
so true.
obsolescence.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it's called.
Oh,
Yep.
awful.
As a part-time thing, I do actually, look for items, that are broken, and then I fix them, and then
Yep.
I sell them again.
Yeah.
And
You
just
do.
perfectly, and just,
He is never bored.
No.
He is constantly doing
Always
something.
working. He just amazes us.
Years ago,
Amazes us.
you had TV repairmen.
yep.
You don't
Yeah.
have them anymore because no one
No.
fixes TV.
Yeah.
I know, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
Washing machines, toaster
The
ovens.
Right.
Maytag
yeah.
repairman is out of a job because there's nothing, they don't repair anything. It's horrible.
But manufacturers need people. Their machinery is too expensive
Right.
to throw out.
You know
They
what
have
I
to
always
fix
find
it.
so amazing though is the little parts that a lot of manufacturers make that need to be shipped out to make something else.
I know.
You know,
Yes.
like
Yes.
the NASA rockets that go
Right.
into,
Well,
this
we
is
have a
happening.
One of the
Exactly.
manufacturers that we surveyed, and this is the reason why we got robots, actually has landed a big contract with NASA right here in the Blackstone Valley. And she's one of the reasons why
Right.
we're putting forth robots to start training people. So,
Yeah,
we
but
can
he
train the
needs
workforce to
employees
work there.
that
Yep.
know
Yeah.
how to do that.
It's actually a woman-owned factory.
Oh, okay.
And I would like to promote women in STEM.
That's
as
right.
Well,
Yeah.
we need more
Exactly.
women.
We
yeah.
do. There's more women. Rosie the Riveter. We need them.
Yeah, there are more women getting into the technical field.
Yeah.
Right.
absolutely.
Right? Yeah. We had them in the last Job Corps cohort.
Yeah.
To train them. Yeah. And one of them actually, she joined the Navy
Yes.
and used her skills in the Navy. The other one's working at Gillette right now, so they get some really good jobs.
Yep.
The two women that were in that class.
I
But-
have a friend in town, his daughter graduated from WPI, his stepdaughter, and went to work for one of the rocket places, which one is it, SpaceX.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And she actually worked on that rocket.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's,
And let me tell you, her salary, he told me, was unbelievable.
yeah,
Wow.
Out of school, right out of WPI.
Mhm.
yeah,
And they're looking for people,
right.
but, if you're not gonna go to WPI, which is gonna cost you half your,
Yeah.
most of, probably 50 years of salary,
Yeah.
you're giving them a chance to get into that field
Yeah,
at a lower level, but at a good pay.
Yeah.
right.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's Elon Musk's company.
Yes.
SpaceX. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
You
But-
used, so go on.
No, go ahead.
Now, you mentioned a word before, Harry, which is aptitude. And the
Yep.
more, like Karen and I have been to see employers, and I've been to see them, and they all say the same thing. You need the correct attitude and the aptitude, and also the attendance as well.
Yeah.
But having the aptitude to do something, and the correct attitude, and
Yeah.
working with people, and being able to understand how things work, and wanting to get ahead,
Yeah.
is so important.
It
And
really
so,
is.
as part of our classes, we actually teach life skills.
Great segue into
Yeah.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
because, Karen and Bob can both teach that, but Karen is gonna be teaching that to some of our reentry people,
Well, we'll
too.
see. Yeah. Well,
But you wanna talk a little bit about what life skills are and what you teach in that, join into, Bob?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess life skills are the things that we would talk about. Would be how to make a resume, how to appropriately use a social media account, how to write an email, how to make a professional email account, things like
Like sort of dress,
Yeah.
how should you attend an interview? What
Sure.
what clothes you
Yes.
should wear,
Yes.
what questions you should ask.
Yeah, do not answer your phone during an interview.
Right.
Your phone should
No.
not even be ringing
Switch
during
it
an
off.
interview.
There's
Yeah,
also
don't
some
even bring it in
financial
with you.
literacy,
Yes, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
About
Yeah,
like
a lot of people,
checks and balances and how
Yeah.
to. I mean, not necessarily, but it seems old-fashioned to say balance a checkbook, but you really have to know. You can't just put the debit card in there all the time.
And then run out of money and not have
Exactly.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I still got a car, so I got plenty of money. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
right.
It's
no,
like, there's still checks in my checkbook, so I must have money in my
Yeah.
account.
Oh,
No, it doesn't work that way.
But you know, you laugh, but unfortunately, it's not taught in the school systems
No,
anymore.
it isn't.
You know, and
Is that right?
it's yeah, it's
Not
not.
really.
It's not
No?
taught in
Wow.
the school
Oh.
system. And we opened a bank account when I was in,
Yeah.
freshman in high school.
Oh,
we get our
yeah.
social security card when we were in school, and I don't think they do that anymore.
So one of the things, as a matter of fact, when
Yeah.
I was at your at one of the events last year, and we talked about financial
literacy, yeah.
which and it was really good event that we broke out into. I can't remember, but it was a Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, we broke
it was
out
like
into
a spring
sessions. and
meeting or
actually,
something.
Unibank was one of the
Right,
presenters. yes,
exactly.
yeah.
And so we brainstormed about what we learned about what different high schools are doing for
Mhm.
financial literacy, and Unibank is a good sponsor because they have a financial literacy
Yeah.
day, and they give the kids a budget,
Yeah.
and they say, okay, and these are the jobs you can pick from, and if you have this job or this career, here's your salary, and you have to go to different
Yeah.
stations. So we talked about that, and the premise for all this discussion was the fact that the Department of Education is going to be launching some more financial literacy standards, so I
Yeah.
hear. And it's a double-edged sword, because you just feel like, yes, of course these things should be taught in school, but then again, with all, your schools cutting budgets and so forth, it's how are we going to do it? Speaking of financial
Yeah.
literacy, right?
Right.
It's like, because teachers get pulled so many different ways, and I hear, speaking of, that's my little soapbox for schools, I feel for them, because I used to be in this very scenario, but I hear parents say all the time, I wish they were teaching that in the school. Why can't they teach that? Why can't they teach, shop or cooking or sewing, all
Yeah.
these things?
That
but
we used to have when we were in
exactly,
school.
home ec, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it depends.
Civics.
Because civics is back. Civics
Thank
is
God.
back.
Yes,
But
yes.
because they had to read it's, and I feel like it goes in waves, right? What's
Mm.
important, what's not, and again the tinkering and so. But we also have to educate at home as well, and so
Right.
it can't all fall on our schools. I guess that's
no,
my point
but
of view.
unfortunately, there's more and more disadvantaged individuals
Right.
that we work with, and there's one parent
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
homes.
Well, if
and
COVID
one
hasn't taught
parent-
us anything, it's
No.
about the injustice around,
Exactly.
and with our internet for the kids and so forth. Yeah.
and the one parent that's working maybe 2 jobs,
Right.
so hardly there to even be
Right.
able to watch the kids. Usually a sibling is watching,
Right.
so it's hard for them to even teach.
Yeah.
And they might not have gotten that foundation
Yeah.
either.
You're very
So
right.
it's a vicious cycle. So we really need to teach that life skills course. But I know that I think you were working with the reentry guys with
Mhm.
the resumes,
Correct, yes.
and it was so important, and they were so grateful. I mean, they really had no idea how to write a resume, what
Yeah.
to do. I mean, maybe you want to address that
Yeah,
a little
but,
bit.
and it's true. I mean, just the basic things that sort of come natural to someone like ourselves. Just what you put in a resume, where you worked, what your key
Right.
skills are, what kind of positions you've held, etc. And you just have a basic knowledge as to who am I, and just recognise that you're selling yourself. It's not,
Right.
So how are you going to present yourself, and then don't just make one resume, make many resumes
Yes.
and tailor them exactly to the needs of that particular employer.
Right.
If one employer is interested in welding, well, make sure you put your welding qualifications near the top. If someone else is interested in machining, put your machining qualifications at the top.
Well, now you have things like LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you put yourself on there, I'm on there just for the heck of it, because I'm not looking for a job. But every now and then I get email, oh, you're really qualified, we've seen your qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
And I just list some things about myself.
Yeah.
But that's important, because that's how you might find a great job
Yep.
just by someone doing a
Yeah.
search and,
Yep.
oh, God, this person, and take the training, and then they can show, hey, I OSHA trained, I have
Welding,
welding skills,
yeah.
I have a certificate in welding,
Yeah.
and that's important, that's part of your resume, but they gotta know how to
Absolutely.
put that in there.
Right.
LinkedIn is is a very, very valuable tool. I used it extensively in my last position, and but you know, it's very important what you put on there and how you, again, present yourself, you know, to the market that
Yeah.
is looking for. And it's not just for finding a job on LinkedIn. There's a whole host of other reasons you want to make, you know, to expand your network of people, which is very important.
Now, you also have to teach them what not to put out there.
This is very
Oh,
true.
yes.
And that, I mean, some people
And that if you
do
put something
stupid
out there,
things.
it's there forever.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
you're never gonna get it off. It's gonna be out there forever. You're right.
Yeah.
And that, boy, some people do some stupid things,
Yes, they do. They really do.
Yes, you
Oh, that's funny.
hear about it every day.
including knocking down your employer on the internet.
Right.
I mean, how dumb can that be?
Yeah.
There's a website called Glassdoor,
Yes.
which is, you know, it's supposed. No, I mean, it is a very good website. It gives you sort of supposed to be unbiased feedback on an employee, on an employer, but these people put some
Yeah.
Yeah.
some crazy stuff on
What
there.
a great way to get fired.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
this
come
is.
on.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not get any advancement or even a raise. 'Cause,
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's funny you mentioned about advancement. You know, some of these positions, you know, that we've spoken to employers about. You know, like typically you'd work in a position for a year, and then you might get a pay rise, and then you
Yeah.
might get, you know, they're talking, you know, for the right people with the right attitude and aptitude and attendance, they'll promote them within 6 months.
Oh,
Onto the
yes.
next- you know, because they're really, really looking for good people.
Well, you know, like I deal with salaries for my guys. I pay them, I give them a raise every year because I don't want to lose them.
Right.
If you're a good employee,
Right.
they're going to pay you because they want to keep you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They need you. I mean, employers have to work within their budgets
Sure.
because you only have so much money coming in. But they're going to work at it and they're going to make sure that you're taken care of because if you're a good employee, if you're a lousy employee, well, I'm not going to give them a raise. Maybe they'll leave.
Yes, this is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
But
these are the things you got to probably teach some of these people because I don't think a lot of kids don't realize that
No, they
today.
don't. Yeah.
Even, you know, some of the adults we've
And
worked
some of the
with have
adults,
been
yeah, I
from
mean-
disadvantaged backgrounds. They didn't really have any guidance.
Right.
And, you know, they became very endearing to us.
They
though,
really
because They
did.
really reached out and they wanted help, and you really wanted to help them. And you know,
Right.
the teachers worked overtime, and they did so much for them. One particular student just couldn't seem to get measurements. I know that you worked hard with him to, you know, help him and push him over the finish line. I think he took his test 3 times, and he finally
Yep.
passed with a 91%, and we were like the proud parents. So it was terrific.
It's a very
Yeah.
rewarding thing
Yeah.
to see them, and then for them all to get their exams and for all to pass. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a really nice feeling. you know.
Yeah, and they feel good about themselves too, because it might have been the first time someone told them that,
Right.
look at what you did. You have potential. You did the right thing. I don't
Right.
think anyone's ever spoken with them like that before.
And I think you can see on our website actually that there's 3 of our students with a certificate, and
Yeah.
you can actually see in their faces, even
You
though
can
they
see
got
their
mask jobs.
eyes. You can see it in their eyes.
Well, it's a real sign of accomplishment,
Yeah,
and that everybody feels good if they accomplish something well.
Yes.
Yes.
and to know that they went on several interviews, and they could have gotten probably every job, and to know that people want you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It's-
neat.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat feeling to have that, you know, wow, I'm pretty darn good, so
Yeah.
it was great. So, you know, we've just got some new equipment coming in, that you mentioned the Dobots, we were playing with those.
Yep.
We've got a big machine that's waiting
It's-
to come in. Do you wanna talk about that
Yeah,
new machine?
we already have. I think I mentioned, Harry, you know, that we have 2 CNC mills, which are essentially sort of 2-axis CNCs, you know, which they can move by computer X and Y. We have a new machine coming in which will do X and Y and Z, and it's fully programmable, and that's the latest generation equipment, and that's actually at the rigging company now. I think we found out today,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
So it's right in Uxbridge.
it's in
Yeah.
Uxbridge, so
Almost
it's
here.
almost here, and so that's going to get delivered, and then we're going to get trained on it. But it's a fantastic piece of equipment. It's made by Track, and it's a very nice system. In fact, I wish I had one of them when I was in industry. I've retired now, by the way, but I wish I had one then. And my colleague Mike, he wants one in his house. But
Well, he'll probably move his bed into the fab
Yeah.
lab, so,
I know.
yeah. So we're excited about that. Now, we're getting some more, we got assembly line, what did we get today?
So we got the Mecha Lab,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is by Festo. It's a major manufacturer of pneumatic systems, automated systems for placing components and things. And then we have the DoBots, which arrived the other day, and then we've got two more like big robots, proper robots, I would
Yeah.
say, which are also coming as well.
Yeah.
And this is all state of the art. This is
Oh, yeah,
right up
brand
to
new.
date.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brand new,
so
state
we're
of the
not
art,
going,
yeah.
you're not going in to, like, when I was in high school, we had machine
That was from
shop.
World War II.
Yeah, yeah. The White Machine Works didn't use anymore, and they donated it to the town.
Right, right.
But
Yeah.
it was, but then machinery lasted a while, basically the same for many years. Today, it's a lot, the progression is unbelievable. It's changing all the time,
It certainly is.
and
Yeah.
because of technology involved.
And that's one of the things, getting back to training again. Things change always. There is always change, always. And
Yes.
It's never going to stop. So we were talking about being able to offer classes to employers who wanted their employees to be trained on the next generation.
Yes.
Something that we could do as well. So there's always opportunities, but certainly things never stand still, ever. I always remember way back when I was working in England, and I remember the CEO, managing director, saying at the time, we're going to do this and we're going to change. A guy at the back of the audience says, well, when's all this change going to stop? It's
It
not
never
going to
stops.
stop.
No, it never stops.
Right.
There's someone out there coming up with a new concept.
Absolutely.
Don't get comfortable.
No.
Yes, if you, what's that old thing? You could be the world's best manufacturer of buggy whips, but it's not going to do you much good, is it?
Right,
Right.
right.
No.
But
No.
that's where your class comes in too. You get them into the field, and they could be the person that comes up with the next new concept.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
what I like to say is, I sort of see people with a spark.
Yeah.
You can always
Yeah.
tell when you interview. I've interviewed many, many people, and it's like, they've got it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and those are the people you want to. Those are the bright pennies you want to
Yeah.
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 and keep.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
definitely.
not everyone does have that, but you can do
No.
your best.
Yeah.
And we do have new computers too, and that's Bob's expertise there. And we've got CAD software. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about some of the software we
Yeah,
have
we
and
have
offer.
the latest generation of computer-aided design software, which then you can envisage. Well, this just like here gets on to another subject, which is with all that you have nowadays. You mentioned about having an idea. So you have an idea, you envisage it, then you design it using the CAD software, and then you manufacture it using a 3D printer or the automated mill or the automated lathe, and then you modify it and you go round that, you iterate around that loop, because when you're in industry and you want to do something, iterating around that design loop is extremely important, and the faster you can do it, the better the advantage you have over your competition. That's the kind of thing that we can teach. We have the correct latest generation computer-aided design software, then we can take that concept like we've done today, and we can put it onto the machine. You get your prototype out there in 45 minutes, test it, see if it works.
That's the whole thing now. When you come up with a new concept, years ago it was a lot of expense and time to build a conceptual model.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yes.
you can build it on the 3D printer
Mm-hmm.
and actually test if it works right.
Yep.
Correct. Yep.
And then, okay, it works fine. Now we'll make the actual piece.
It's interesting. The 3D printers we have are pretty sophisticated ones, and then once you've learned how to use those, you can go on to the next ones, which actually can produce metal items.
Yes.
Sintered, stainless steel items. And my wife worked for an aeronautics company, and they had one of these. So you could first of all you prototype it in plastic, see if it works. Then you make it out of stainless steel. There, comes out of the machine. just like that.
Crazy. I know.
Yeah, the 3D printers are amazing. I mean, they make 3D printers that will actually make human organs.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And also houses. I saw one the other
Oh,
day.
I did see that,
The
yeah.
world's largest concrete 3D printer.
Yeah,
Actually,
Oh
3D
my
printer.
Yes,
gosh,
yes, and
wow.
actually built the house
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
out of concrete.
Yeah.
Anything that flows, it'll be a liquid form that hardens.
Yeah.
That's what a 3D printer does. It takes something that's in liquid and turns it into something solid, but shaped the way you want it.
Yep.
Yeah,
They are astonishing.
and this is just starting. So you
Right.
imagine in 10 years or so, what the concepts will be. That's why, what a field to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Well, things are changing rapidly. I've heard
Yeah.
on the news again today, there was somebody with a jetpack that was
Oh, by
Got in
LAX, yeah.
got in the field of an airplane. So
Oh, jeez,
we're the
really?
Jetsons now.
Unfortunately, you can't cure stupidity.
No,
but
I
that's,
know, that's real stupidity, so. Oh, good.
Yeah.
But
Good
that's the
Lord.
advancement that are coming, and it's fast. Computers are making it even faster.
Mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to get those skills.
yeah.
Yep. And of course, the next generation of computers is all about quantum mechanics, which is another interesting story altogether.
Yes.
With the quantum entanglement, but we're not going to get into that detail here. But we're not getting to that level, yes.
No, we're not gonna be at that
But-
level for a little while.
But you'll have people, right now, you've got to be an engineer to be into quantum mechanics.
Yeah,
But,
Actually, a physicist, I would probably say. But
yeah,
As a
Yeah.
probably a
physicist, yeah.
physicist, yeah.
but you're going to have, it'll reach a point where the average worker will be involved.
Mm-hmm. And this is true. I mean, I think all of these machines, whether it's the most cutting edge of things, you still need to make enclosures for them. You still need to
Yes.
make feet for them. You still
Right.
need to make power supplies. You still need to make
Right.
systems that move them and hold them, and all of these things. So and that's where the employers
Mm-hmm,
need people with skills to be able to do that.
right,
Right.
right. Well, we have a company in Uxbridge that makes speed motor drives, and they make them for probably everybody in the world. We do a lot of certificates of origin for them because
Mhm.
they're always exporting all over the world. And as you say, if something moves, it needs a speed motor drive of some kind. So, that's a sustainable business right there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Manufacturing is coming back in good numbers in this country. But one of the reasons it left was because, it was cheaper to manufacture overseas, especially China. But also, they didn't have the employees.
They didn't have the employees, but one thing that I'm hearing from the manufacturers, or the manufacturers are telling me that they're hearing from their customers, is that they were dealing with these companies in China that were making these parts, and the parts don't last.
Right.
They don't have the quality of the ones that are made in
That's
the
why they
United
made them cheaper.
States.
That's how they made
So
them
now they're
cheaper.
coming
Yes.
back here,
Yeah.
and they're purchasing from American manufacturers. So, yeah,
The car manufacturers had that problem. They were
yeah,
outsourcing a lot of parts to, especially Mexico, and the quality wasn't there. And now you're paying $30,000 for a vehicle, you expect it to last.
Yeah.
And cars do last much longer. 20-year-old car is the norm today,
yeah,
but you have to have quality parts in it. And we have to, and that's why we need manufacturing back here and get back to what we do. If we went into a situation like we had in World War II, where plants were able to convert over to manufacturing for the military,
yeah.
we couldn't do that today. We
Well,
couldn't-
we just saw an example of that.
Yeah, with all the
Yeah.
COVID and
With
the
the COVID.
ventilators and
Trying
the
to,
PPE.
it took a
yeah.
while.
Yeah, we had to convert factories over, and
Uh,
it was not easy.
No, it was pretty touch and go there. We
Yeah.
thought we weren't gonna have enough ventilators for people, so it
Yeah,
was,
because we were
you know.
importing everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so now we realize that these jobs are gonna be there.
yeah, yeah.
So, if you got into the service industry, which is now hurting, maybe you ought to look at, hey, I gotta make a career change.
Yeah, very much so. Well, we're up for it, and I'm excited about a lot of what we're doing here, and maybe we should talk about how to get in touch with the Ed Hub
Yes.
for, the STEM courses, but also for the OSHA training and for upcoming curriculums we're putting together that are gonna be available to the public. And as Bob said, if you're interested in a career path, and you want to find out what curriculums are available, please reach out to the Ed Hub, because we're very flexible, and we are going to be doing adult classes, so we could maybe incorporate you into some of these classes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because we have some grants, and if we had some other people who were interested in
Yeah.
participating, that is definitely
Yeah.
something we can do. So we can be reached by phone at 508-266-7158. And do you know our homepage address?
Yes, so on our website is www.bv-edhub.org, and if you go to there, you can see us and you can send us an email, or go to our Facebook page as well. Just search for bv-edhub.org, and you will find us on there. And our Facebook page is quite active.
Yeah.
Frequently post on there.
The last couple of, I would say, week, it's been really very active and nice to see. And we're also on Twitter at BV_EdHub.
Yeah, that's it, I think.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many of these addresses that you got to know nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have a great newsletter, so if you want to see what's going on at the Ed Hub, you can call us or email us, and
It's
even at
also
the
on
chamber.
our website.
Yeah.
A lot of that
Oh, it's
same
on the website.
information.
Oh,
is
okay,
on the
great,
website,
yes, you can
yeah.
see the
And-
newsletter on the website.
And didn't you just get an article into the
I did,
Telegram
I
Gazette?
just had an article in the Telegram Gazette on Sunday, so you can find that at the Telegram Gazette, and is it on our Facebook page?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
it
put
is.
it on
Okay,
our
great.
Facebook page.
Yeah, good. So there's a lot happening.
Now,
At the
when are you
Hub.
gonna be starting the classes?
For the public, this month.
This month, so
Yeah, October
don't
26th.
wait to get in touch,
Yeah,
because you'll fill up fast.
yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
talking, what, a half dozen?
Yeah, exactly.
so-
Because it's socially distanced, we're following all
Yep.
the guidelines, so you don't have to worry about that at all.
We
Right.
get past the COVID, you'll have bigger classes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Very much.
For
Yeah.
now, so this is,
For now.
if you're interested, don't hesitate.
right.
Right. Call
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
But wait, there's
call,
more.
call right now and leave a message. Because really, I mean, that 6 is not a lot of spots.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And that'll be the welding program, the STEM.
Yeah,
The STEM workshops are for the middle school students, and
Yeah.
like I said, we would love to do more of those. That next week is our first go at these, and we would love to do them on school vacations, perhaps a Saturday workshop where Bob just talked about making Christmas ornaments, things
Yeah.
like that. There's so many great things to do to educate the younger
Now the
students.
STEM, you have to go through your school, your middle school.
Nope,
No.
no.
no, it's
Oh,
after
okay.
school.
Just be a middle
Yeah.
school student.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, be that age group.
Yep.
Yeah,
So parents.
So basically, that's why we put it on Facebook. I did email it out to the school districts so then they blast the parents on their,
Right, they have communication
communication systems, exactly. So,
we even have one student coming from Rhode Island, so,
yeah,
Oh.
you know,
and
so,
some are girls.
yeah, which is good, and that's what we
No,
want.
it's great. A lot of
Yeah.
girls are getting, I used to say, well, girls don't do math. Well, that's not true.
Right,
No, it's not.
right,
Look at Lori Leshin, the president of WPI.
right.
Yeah.
She's a scientist for NASA.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, but a lot of women are getting into the sciences now.
Yeah,
More so.
I mean, I come from the biologic industries, life sciences there, and it's fair to say, I think that probably 50% or more
Yeah.
are women.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget, the fact there's a new series on Netflix about Marie Curie.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very famous
Yeah.
scientist. A lot of the original computer programmers from World War II and just afterwards were ladies. So
Yeah.
it's nothing at all. But it's just got this stereotype of a guy with a pipe. Sitting
know.
there.
Right.
But it's
Yeah.
not.
well, we're gonna break
Yeah,
that
I've
glass
done
ceiling.
many girls in STEM workshops. I love them. I love to. And that's something we can absolutely do more of. Yeah.
No, it was a black woman that figured out
Hidden
the math
Figures.
for John
Yeah.
Glenn's
Yeah,
Right.
Mhm.
yeah, that's
orbit.
the movie Hidden Figures. Actually, she died last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and,
she did it all in her head.
Right.
yeah,
She didn't have a computer do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it really, it's great fields for women to get into and interest. And, we got to put away the old
Yep.
Definitely, I'm glad to hear
cliches
that.
and whatever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, very much.
But
so.
I'm if you have a middle school student, it's a really good idea to
It's this
check.
upcoming week.
Yeah.
You can register right online,
Yep.
and you can pay by credit card right there online too.
Yep. It's $25
yeah.
for a workshop.
God,
Yeah,
that's-
so it's
Yeah.
And
quite
if you live in
affordable.
Northbridge, what a great experience for them.
I mean, and right now, a lot of the kids are remote, so that's another thing. It's great to get them to
Yeah.
actually do some hands-on learning. So I know that's some of the feedback that we did get from the parents who emailed us. So yeah, the more we can do
You're limited on number
safely,
there too, right?
yeah, 10 per day.
10 per day.
But we can run them all week, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the class will be 10.
Yes,
And it's
then-
what, 3 to 5?
3 to 5.
And it's 1 week?
Yeah,
It's
next
STEM
week,
week.
because it's STEM week,
Oh,
we're doing
okay.
the same workshop every day, which is 3D modeling and design. And
But after the week is over, will you be doing another one?
yeah, so that's what I was saying. We would love to explore doing workshops like this more often for our middle school students.
So if you see a lot of
Yeah.
participation.
So we're gonna be we're
so
gonna
just
be
keep
putting
it,
them.
Keep it
I
going.
think Harry, just the fact that we just made our Facebook page a month ago, and we already have people responding to it, and especially an event that we're doing is a great sign, and we're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we got
This is a-
9,000 shares on that, I think. So
Yeah.
That's good. Pretty good.
and with the kids ain't even going to school right now, aren't even
Right.
in school, here's a chance to get some hands-on training,
Sure.
with a
Yeah.
person in the same room as you are,
Right.
not on a
Right.
computer screen.
Right.
No, not at all.
Right.
And the Blackstone Valley Chamber is going to be doing their virtual annual meeting this year because of COVID,
Yes.
which is going to be a big production. That's going to be on November 19th. And I'm happy to say that the Community Leadership Award is going to be presented to the BB Ed Hub.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to be scheduling that video to videotape you to receive your award. And then
Is
it'll
it
be
black
presented.
tie?
If you wanted to be, you can wear one of those T-shirts that has a black tie.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll be putting the video presentation together. It'll be presented on November 19th, which is the day our annual meeting would have been happening in person had it not been COVID. So, and just to give us a little plug, I talked about this before, but our keynote speaker is Major General Thomas Murphy,
Yes.
who's from the Blackstone Valley, but he's now head of cybersecurity at the Pentagon. And being Cybersecurity Month,
That's
this
great.
is very timely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
Yeah. That's
And just down the
wonderful.
street, Riverdale Mills, who's one of our partners at the Ed Hub, and
Yep.
we've employed a number of our students there. They're going to be receiving a Community Outreach Award, the John D. MacArthur Award, and we're also going to be recognizing them for 40 years in their location here in
40
Northbridge.
years
40
already.
years, yeah. Yeah, and they've evolved through manufacturing. As you know, with Jim Knott Sr., the whole story of Riverdale Mills and how he saved the structure, but also, the way that they utilize the river for their electricity.
Oh, I know, I mean.
So it's, yeah,
That mill was in very rough
yeah,
shape.
I
was on
know.
the fire
The
department.
the fire department was told not to come if there was
Yeah.
a fire there.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Let
We'd
it
get-
burn.
We would get called
Yeah.
there all the time, the alarm would go off.
And you guys are like, I'm not going.
Well, the chief said, if it starts to burn, we let it burn.
Let it
Yeah.
go, yeah.
Aw.
And look at it now, and it employs
Yeah.
a number of people, and, they've been very good about working with our students and hiring them and giving them a good chance, so, we're happy to honor them, and alongside with the BB Ed Hub, which has done so much for this
Fantastic.
area, and will continue to do so, so you guys are doing a great job. So proud of you, so proud of you. And we have, all of our teachers are great. Our other teacher, Mike Hurley, is a retired vocational teacher and has manufacturing experience. And our other teacher is Mike Smutok, who is an engineering teacher at Uxbridge High School.
Mhm.
Right.
So we've got an illustrious roster
Yes.
at the BV Ed Hub. Yeah,
The thing is, after your parents, the most important people in your life are your teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely true.
And
Yep.
they have a big influence on
Certainly do.
how you change.
yeah, exactly.
And especially when you have such small classes, you're really hands-on.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a great opportunity now. It's saying why anyone wouldn't even check this out.
It's a great way to get a terrific career path with no
Yeah.
student debt.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's a terrific job that's not for minimum wage. You, as both of you have said, you're promoted from within. You move up the ladder, and it's not just a job; it's a career. And if you like it, you have the aptitude for it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
like Bob fixing things. It's fun.
Mr.
Right.
Fix-It.
Mr.
But your,
Fix-
your
right.
entry pay is always good. It's, I mean, you're starting
Yeah,
out at a good
you start
pace.
out at
Certainly it's
mid-level. Yeah.
well above minimum wage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the caveat that people would say to me in the manufacturing, they said, tell your students to take a look at the cars that are parked in the parking lot here.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
yeah.
that's, I always did that.
Yeah.
The other really good thing too, that I think that sometimes doesn't really gets mentioned, is the ability to work a different shift.
Yeah.
And for
Yes.
childcare purposes, it's
Oh, yes.
very
Good point.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Because they can generally work second or third shift if their spouse is working a different shift. So,
My wife and I did that when my kids were growing up.
yep.
I worked first, she
It
worked
could be a
second.
secret to a happy marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn how
Oh,
to see
yeah.
each other.
Oh,
Someone
yeah.
that I used to work with, he said that all the time. That he worked day shift and his wife was a night shift nurse, and he's like, "It's how we keep the magic alive. We don't see each other."
In fact, one of the guys that we placed, he's now got his wife a job at the same place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For convenience.
Different shifts.
Yep.
So he watches the kids, and while
then
she
they
works,
switch.
and they switch, and transportation too for them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they're just
Yeah,
getting
I
back
think
on their
too,
feet.
it gave me a chance to have a relationship with my two sons.
Yes.
Because I was the only one there.
Yeah.
So
You didn't have a
It
choice.
works out good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound good.
So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, if you even want to just come out and have a tour of the facility, see what it's like, we'd be happy to accommodate you there. Just, give
Yeah.
us a call so you can see how things are running. And I think you'll be amazed
Yeah.
at what is there and the technology that we have. And,
Well-
it's only going to get better.
You have been recognized by the state
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
and nationally now, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and this is the first time this has been done by a chamber, right?
It is. We're the only chamber in the country that's
Well, when it
ever
does
done
it,
this.
but
Yeah.
now it's others looking into it because
Yeah.
it does so good.
There's a lot of them that are running in the other direction because they see how much work it is.
And we must say sort of kudos, to Jeannie for,
Oh,
for
Right.
organising
Yeah.
this. I mean, it's,
Thank you.
she's done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, I mean, it's quite an
Thank you.
undertaking. It's not a simple task.
No,
No.
not at all. There were
Well,
days
she makes
when
it look easy.
that's the problem. There were days when I said, "And why did I do this?"
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Driving me crazy, but it's all falling into place, and we've got a wonderful crew, much better than I would ever have expected. I mean, in 2 years, with what we've done and the talent that we have, even sitting right here, I'm just blows my mind because
Yeah, I think we're all very
Yeah.
excited knowing what's coming.
Yeah.
Knowing
Yes.
where we're headed.
yeah.
Yes.
It's very exciting.
And to have these two people here, as I say, I don't speak academics, Karen does, and I don't speak technology. But, if you have good people that do it, you're all set.
Okay, well, we could wrap it up.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
Wow.
Hey, thank you for watching. This will be on again all week long. And I'll be back next Thursday at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Been
you.
a pleasure.
Bye.